I'm Swithin Fry from The Spirit Within, an online international friendship for people in their third age. And this is the third of our video interviews with people offering words of comfort. The first two, a woman sculptor who's 90 in New York. The second was a woman in Dorset in south West England. She's 79 and she's a local spiritual activist, I would say. And actually our third one today is not going to be a word of comfort, it's going to be a song of comfort. So it's our first song of comfort, which is brilliant. I would like to introduce Colleen Crawford, who is all the way over on Vancouver Island, Canada. And just very briefly to say, Colin and I go back some 62 years to when we were at school together in Bristol, southwest England. I reckon that is roughly the time that Colin started playing the guitar. So he's been playing the guitar for 62 years. Am I right, Col?
You're very close, you know. I think it's 65 years.
Oh.
We met when we were 5 years old. And yes, but I wasn't playing the guitar when I was 5 years old, I don't think.
When did you start?
Oh, play the guitar? Probably sometime around the Beatles, you know, when they showed up. So, yeah, it would have been beginning
I thought you started when you were 8.
No, maybe. I may have given you the impression by pretending to play the guitar when I was 8 years old. Didn't all kids in the schoolyard just pretend to play guitar like that, you know? Yeah.
Oh, that's it. I remember that. I remember it more vividly. So, Colin, let's go into the interview proper. How old are you?
I'm 70, going on 71, I think, in a month or two. I don't know, you remember my birthday, I don't.
I hope I remember. I've already said you're in Vancouver Island, Canada. How did you get to Vancouver Island, Canada from Bristol?
Well, could I take you back even further, because I got to Bristol from Burma, and so my family left Burma when I was 6 months old, and we went to Bristol. So I was actually an immigrant in Bristol. In fact, I was a refugee probably because I had no status, because I was born after Burma got its independence, and so I wasn't British by virtue of being being part of the British colony of Burma. My parents were, my brother and sister was, but I came to England as an alien, which is basically what the nationality paper said. But we were in Bristol, as you know, from up till 6 months old until 16 years old, and we came to Canada. I've been in Canada, and the family's been in Canada. And I got from Canada, worked in Toronto, in the central Canada for all my life, and then came out to the West Coast to enjoy the West Coast, the air and the beauty and the peace and the quiet. So here we are on Vancouver Island, furthest west you can get in Canada. And still get a Tim Hortons cup of coffee, and the Canadian
vital.
You remember Tim Hortons coffee and the Canadian medical system, and so anyway, no, we're very happy here.
Right. What about a spiritual path? How do you feel that you've led a spiritual path over the years?
Well, yes, I think so, and you know, putting or separating religion and spiritualism, and religion and everything else that matters. We went to a Catholic school. My mother was a Catholic. My father was a Buddhist. So there were very interesting discussions at the dinner table about, whose rules were in force. Is it the Pope's rules, or is it the rules of nature and everything else? But I was raised as a Catholic, and served on the altar, I believe, with you, and gradually moved away from organized religion. But right now, do I believe in God? Yes. Do I believe in gods? Yes. Do I believe in most things? Yes. I believe in just about everything. We're living here on the West Coast. There's a very strong native, indigenous, we call them First Nations culture, the First Nations. In North America, the history of North America and the white settlers go back 200 years. The history of the First Nations people go back 20 million years. They were here first, they're still here, and they believe that there's God in the rocks, in the trees, and the rivers. Who am I to say that's wrong? It is. So yes, I believe in gods, I believe in God, and I believe there is some guiding force. Anyway, you asked my beliefs, and that's it. I'm covering all bases.
Well, yeah, I think having a Catholic mother and a Buddhist father, to me, that sounds like a really good combination, actually.
Yes, I had a very good childhood. I had that Catholic discipline. Yes, I went to church. Yes, I served on the altar. Yes, I had all of that. But then I also had my father, who was very in the 60s we'd say laid back, but not that laid back. He just he had his own way of looking at things, which is very much based on let things be, let things happen, and so it was a good background.
Yeah, and with the spirit within being a friendship for people in their third age, it kind of begs the question: do you believe in a fourth age, a life, a heaven, or another dimension, or something next?
I hadn't thought of that too much. Yes, I do believe. I believe there's something else, because this can't be it. I mean, you wake up every morning and you sort of touch yourself and you say, how did this amazing machine? How did this all get created? And why did it get created? Why are we, and why is that over there? And how did that tree, get to be the tree? And how did Colin or Swithin get to be, sitting here doing this? There is something happening. Something always happened, and something will always happen. And so I believe that there is something after death. What it is, I don't know. Will we come back? Will we get reincarnated? I don't know. I mean, what if you get reincarnated as a cockroach? Is that a good thing? Everybody would like to be reincarnated as something like a cat or a tiger or lion. But but do I believe in reincarnation? Again, earlier I said I believe in everything and anything. Because I want to keep all of my options open. I don't want to cut off anything that might upset my future life in another life. But sorry, I know I'm being a little bit facetious and lighthearted, but yes, I believe in life.
I was thinking of the cockroach, and I was thinking it all depends where you are reincarnated as a cockroach. If you're in the middle of a lovely wild forest, that sounds pretty good. If you're in the middle of someone's living room, that's not so good.
Yes, exactly. Which is like life in general, isn't it? If you were born,
absolutely.
If you were born in white in the United Kingdom, everything is wonderful. If you're born black in Africa, things aren't wonderful. So yes, it's a very good analogy to the cockroach.
Yeah, there but for fortune. Good one.
There but for fortune. I'll do that song later.
Okay. A very quick one, because it'd be lovely to get you into singing. Uh, um, there's a very old Zen saying, which goes something like, "In order to live well, we need to know how to die well." And I think believing in an afterlife is definitely part of that equation, for want of a better word. Do you feel that having that belief in a next, whatever it might be, has helped you day by day in your life?
Yes, yes, it has. And I'll just pass on another anecdote, because I tell people occasionally that actually I have been dead. I have been technically dead because I did have a heart operation about 20 years ago. It was very successful, but as part of the heart operation, they take the heart out of you and they put it on a little machine to keep it pumping. But for that period of time, when they take the heart out of you, you are technically dead. And they just keep you alive by pumping the blood that's remaining in your body around you. So, and I checked myself out very carefully. I kept wanting to see if I could see a blue light at the end of the tunnel, but I saw no blue light. But my image of being dead once, technically, was that it went from seeing the anesthesiologist to seeing my wife leaning over me in the bed when I came to. So that process, I wanted to go through that process to say, I don't think I have any fear of death. I have fear of pain at death. I would not, as nobody would want to have severe pain and agony while they're dying. But the death itself, there was a blackness about it, and that's all I can remember. And no blue light at the end of the tunnel. So maybe that was the good news. I didn't see the blue light.
Very good.
But yes,
Very good. Very good.
To answer your question, I think everything that we've had in our past, our religion and our spiritual conversations, has prepared me for saying, "Yep, all's good. I've had a good life, and I'm happy for that."
Fabulous. Fabulous. Now, Colin, I have made the gross error at being the host of not having a clock that I can see. I can't see a clock on my computer screen because this recording takes up the whole screen. So I'm not really sure how long we've got. We had half an hour starting from when we first met. Can you do some timing? I was thinking, how many songs have we got time to squeeze in?
Well, I was only going to do one.
Okay.
I'm only doing one song. So that will keep that brief. And I believe we've been...
Would you like to say which song it is and why you chose it?
Yes. Okay. It is We Shall Overcome. And I think most people all over the world, know that song. And I just I've done some research on it, and I can tell you that it dates back to around the 1900, the turn of the century, and it was an American Negro spiritual or gospel song. So it's been around since 1900. It was actually written, the words were written back then. And in about the 1940s, it turned into a union strike protest song. And so it went from Negro spiritual to union labor strike protest. And then in the 1950s, Pete Seeger was cataloged and was a great sort of American folk music historian, as well as performer. And so he resurrected it. And in the 60s, it was resurrected as a protest song, as an anti-war protest song. So by people like Joan Baez and Peter, Paul and Mary. So I think most of us of our age know it as a protest song. But I think I want to sing it, and then I'm going to tell you where it really came from.
Okay.
because you and I had a little discussion, I think, about
That's right.
you know,
That's right. I remember.
everything is from somewhere else, and so I'm going to grab my guitar here. I hope I don't
Great.
take over
Thank
the
you.
microphone.
Thank you.
And by all means, hum along, sing along. So I hope the audio doesn't get too muddy and fuzzy. Oh, deep within my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome one day. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand one day. Oh, deep within my heart, I truly do believe we'll walk hand in hand one day. You are not alone. I am not alone. We are not alone today. Oh, deep inside my heart, I do believe that we are not alone today. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep within my heart, I truly do believe we shall overcome one day. And that's We Shall Overcome.
Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant. That's lovely, Colin. That's lovely. And it's so incredibly apt for a song of comfort, even though it is seen as a song of protest as well. Maybe that fits in, protest and comfort.
Yes.
Maybe that fits in somehow.
So, talking about religion, this song, having said it was written in the 1900s, was actually extremely similar to a Roman Catholic hymn that was written in 1792, which was in itself apparently a traditional Italian song from Sicily. And you and I would have sung it, because I absolutely remember singing it, and it was O Sanctissima. O Sanctissima, O Piissima, Dulces Virgo Maria, which is, we shall overcome, we shall overcome. So it's very natural, and it's natural that somebody in 1900 should know that tune, know that melody, and put words to it, different words to it, because he didn't know Latin. So it is interesting that it is both a song of protest and a hymn to the Virgin Mary, which apparently was sung at weddings. And I don't know if I think we sang it in school in the music room, but maybe I sang it because I used to serve at the Italian wedding. Sorry, I used to serve Italian masses in St. Mary's on the Quay in Bristol. So it's quite possible we sang it at an Italian wedding when I was an altar server there. So there we go, full circle.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, Colin, I guess we're running out of time a little bit. So thank you very, very much. Thank you very much to Colleen Crawford over at Vancouver Island, Canada, for that wonderful song, and also the first of our songs of comfort. If you want to see the interviews, that's 2 words of comfort and now 1 song of comfort. They are on the website, which is www.s-within.com. And if you go there, you'll see a library tab. And in the library tab, there is a little revolving tab which says YouTube videos, the words of comfort. It doesn't say song of comfort yet, so I'll have to add that. Colin Crawford, Colin, thank you so much. That was really, really fabulous. Fabulous.
Further than delightful. Delightful to be here.